Tonight, we bring you a special report from the heart of a cultural renaissance in Cameroon. In Bandjoun, a single night of art has set a new benchmark for how a nation can confront its most challenging issues. This is the story of a premiere of the national tour for the spoken word album BRUISES.
Yahweh, we dey for inside me. We know the deep define dolo. For Sika say we remember say if you shave all yaba. Say if you calme all tension and bad explain like in Antiba. If I feel that so easy then dolo for chop my explain like it better than me. When there is some cool song or some fire so that I feel the year more as in the knock my pacha. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're happy to be here, can you just make some noise? Please make some noise for the owner of this place, Papa Bartholomew Togo, for being here today. Make some noise. Thank you. Can you make some noise for Terry? Terry, where is Terry? I'm not seeing him. That's Terry that way. Can you make some noise for Terry? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Make some noise for Chanceline. She has been doing a lot with CCN. And the most important guest here today. Hey, let me make some noise, please, for my colleague in the art. Deborah, you're out there. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the very first time, I want you to put your hand for the most important guest of today. Put your hands together like you mean it for yourselves. Put your hands together for yourselves for being here today. So, while I'm going to
For 2 hours, the space at Bandjoun Station was transformed into a sanctuary of testimony and a fortress of defiance. The theme was gender-based violence, but the message was ultimately one of profound resilience and collective power.
Thus she was lying down on the ground with her face on the floor and her bleeding eyes raised towards the door. At the mountain of her lungs trying to call out for help, but no one was home. Trying to hold on to the last drop of air left in her lungs. Uncle Desert.
This wasn't just a launch party, it was the birth of a movement backed by the Cameroonian Cultural Network of Clark Yaoundé and international partners. At the center of this storm of creativity is the poet, Mottanni, the architect and driving force behind the album BRUISES. To understand the night, one must understand the project. BRUISES is not merely a collection of poems, it is a curated journey through the landscape of pain, memory, and reclamation that surrounds gender-based violence. The power of Mottanni's work lies in its unflinching honesty. As we heard, this is art that refuses to look away. But what made the Bandjoun premiere revolutionary was Mottanni's decision not to carry this weight alone.
Today, young black queen, I tell you a story. One that has oftentimes been written in whispers and process and silent screams. Where your survival has oftentimes been mistaken for invitation. Where your body has oftentimes become a battleground, fighting battles you never agreed to. So this is not just a poem. This is reckoning. A fire. A refusal to let you bear the weight of a crime you did not commit. So it wasn't about the hair on your skirt. Whether you kissed your knees or went a little higher. It wasn't about the smile flowing from your lips, sweet like ripe mangoes mistaken for invitation. It wasn't about the sway of your hips, speaking a language they claimed to have heard but never learned. It was about the violence in his gaze that turned your body into a battlefield. It was about the audacity of his hands mapping territories you never surrendered. It was about the lie he told himself that the no you gave was a dialect for yes and oh no. That can't be excused.
The vision expanded from a solo recital to a collective chorus. I know that for this message to truly resonate, it couldn't just be my voice. It had to be a chorus. We needed poets to dissect the truth, musicians to score the emotions, and the community to hold the space. Bruises is our story, and it takes a village to tell it. Those were the words of the poets and spoken word artist Mottanni. And a village of artists answered the call. The stage became a who is who in the Cameroonian contemporary art.
And I only tell it when I'm motivated.
Mama, Papa, I was so young. Everything I did, you applauded strong. When I hit you, when I hit my brother, you rejoiced and said my limbs were becoming strong. I was being and becoming the man. When I talked without control to people, to you, to my brother, my sister, you said I was building my vocals. I was standing up for myself. Every time, every single time, you attributed my aggressiveness to na small pikin. You know, sabi wetin you do. But who began to teach me the correct thing to do? She's not in the house. I have checked. She's not on the streets. I have searched. She's not in the speeches I will be making. Neither is she in the conferences I will be organizing and attending. For I have followed her tracks to the top of Mount Fako, down to the valleys of Bandjoun, and they told me there, she's not here. So baby, me take you through history, down till you understand the story of the why Ruben Oglobel, who loved Douala Mankabel gave their life, and why John Bufoncha, Emmanuel Bella Lifafa Indeli.
But the innovation didn't stop with poetry. The evening was woven together with a live breathing musical score. The acclaimed artist Mark Bila brought a ground presence. Ayelionet's melodies provided a soulful haunting layer, and Keshel's rhythms created a heartbeat for the performance. The fusion of spoken word, live music and beatboxing was not for entertainment. It was a deliberate strategy to make the message inescapable, engaging both the mind and the spirit. The multidisciplinary approach prevented the evening from being an overwhelming dirge. Instead, it was carefully paced, emotional journey. The music allowed for reflection, the beat for the release of anger, and the poetry for the crystallization of the truth. Poets like Yaje Medin with her sharp social commentary.
Doesn't mean he's gonna cry. He attempted suicide, but nobody asked why. He was depressed, yet no one was concerned. He was traumatized, yet negatively criticized. From human to humiliation, he found solace in addiction, and he consoled himself in silence.
Sakeng Dayan with her lyrical intensity, and the preacher with his prophetic delivery, each brought a unique texture to the night. They were not opening acts, they were essential voices in a unified narrative. Crucially, This artistic brilliance was matched by a deep sense of community responsibility. Recognizing the triggering nature of the content, the event was partnered with local organizations specializing in gender-based violence. Counselors were on site and resources were made available, transforming the venue from a mere performance space into a safe and supported environment. What happens here tonight is as important as our work in the shelters. This is prevention. This is breaking the silence. What art creates, when art creates this space, it gives people permission to speak, to seek help, and to know they are not alone, said one of the audience in attendance. And the significance of the night was not lost on the established guardians of Cameroonian culture.
We have come from the north, where the Hamatan whispers and tells secrets. We have come from the south, where the rivers bear secrets of our origins. We have come from the east, where the earth awakes as the sun first kisses. We have come from the west,
held quiet
where the ocean cradles.
The presence of artists Thierry Fomene and the revered maestro Barthélemy Togo was a powerful non-verbal statement. It was a passing of the torch, a recognition from the academy and the masters of tradition that this new urgent form of storytelling is just valid.
Je disais à M. Togo tout à l'heure, j'en parle, je suis ému. Je suis artiste, vous savez. Et ce qui me touche ce soir, c'est toi, Mottanni. Mottanni, c'est cette générosité, cette humanité. Tu as une petite scène, elle est toute petite. Le CCN t'offre la possibilité de t'exprimer. Et ce n'est pas tous les jours que tu as des scènes. Mais tu réussis à déplacer tout ce monde-là. Mon cher, demeure généreux. Ça va te ramener au sommet.
It was a passing of the torch, a recognition from the academy and the masters of tradition that this new, urgent form of storytelling is not just valid, it is essential. Their attendance combined with institutional sponsorship of Clark Network sends an unmistakable signal. This work is officially sanctioned, culturally significant and nationally important. So, what was the takeaway from Bandjoun? The premiere of the BRUISES tour demonstrated a powerful new model of social change through art. It is a model built on collaboration over solo performance, community care alongside artistic expression, and cultural legitimacy granted by both institutions and maestros. Energy here was not one of bleak despair but of determined collective strength. As the final words were spoken and the last notes faded, what remained was a sense of conversation begun, a community forged. The BRUISES National Tour has now set forth for Bandjoun. It moves to Bamenda and Gaoundéré.